All right, so have you ever wondered, like, what the latest science says about how to slow down aging?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Well, okay, get this. We're going to deep dive into this 3-year study. And basically what they did was they looked at how vitamin D and omega-3s and exercise all affect something called DNA methylation.
Yeah.
Yeah, so DNA methylation, it's basically like your cell's biological clock.
Oh, interesting.
And you know how, like, everyone always says that these things are, like, really good for you?
Yeah.
Well, this study actually put them to the test
Okay.
to see, like, which one really makes a difference in, like, how fast your clock is ticking.
That's awesome.
What's even cooler is they use, like, 4 different aging tests,
Oh, wow.
not just one.
To, like, see how each of those things affected
That's
them,
exactly
like, all the different...
like, from all different angles to,
Yeah.
like, really make sure that their findings were solid.
Yeah, like they were really triple-checking their work.
Exactly. It's like a scientific recipe
Right?
to find out which ingredient makes the biggest difference.
I like that.
So initially, I was kind of surprised by the vitamin D results.
Okay.
Like, obviously, it's super important for a lot of things in your body.
Yeah.
But in this study, it didn't really seem to, like, move the needle that much when it came to slowing down that DNA methylation clock.
Okay, so it's crucial for a lot of, like, bodily functions, but when it comes to aging,
Yeah, specifically in this study.
well, this didn't really show a strong connection there.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And then the exercise results I thought were pretty interesting, too.
Okay.
So this study really focused on, like, doing a full body strength training routine 3 times a week.
Okay.
And, obviously we all know that, like, moving our body is good for us in general.
Right, yeah.
But they found that it wasn't really the main thing driving those changes in this particular study.
So they were looking at strength training specifically, not just, like, general activity level.
Right. Which is not to say that exercise doesn't have a ton of other benefits.
Of course not. Yeah, there's tons of benefits to exercise.
Just not the primary driver here. Okay, so that sets the stage.
Right.
What did have a big impact?
Drum roll.
Omega-3s.
Yeah.
And we're not just talking about, like, a tiny little effect here.
Right.
They significantly slowed down aging across, like, multiple of their tests.
That's pretty exciting.
So,
They used a dose of 1 gram per day,
okay.
which seems to be like the sweet spot for getting those benefits.
Hold on. So people who, like, started the study with low omega-3 levels,
Yeah,
they saw the most improvement.
it seems that way.
That's so fascinating.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it really underscores how important it is to, like, know where you stand with your own omega-3 levels.
Right.
Like, do you eat fatty fare like salmon at least twice a week? If not, you might not be getting enough naturally, and so, like, a supplement could be something to consider.
Okay, so it seems like the dream team
Okay.
in this study for slowing down aging is you hit that 1 gram of omega-3s, you keep up with 2,000 IUs of vitamin D, and you stick to that strength training 3 times a week.
Yeah, it seems like that was the ideal routine from the study.
Yeah.
But even with all those things combined, like all 3 of those omega-3s were like,
The real MVP.
yes, the real MVP.
Coupled it.
The other factors, they might add a little extra oomph.
Right.
But the omega-3s are like that solid foundation.
Okay, so omega-3s are the clear winner here.
Yes.
But what does this win actually look like?
Okay.
Let's dive into, like, the numbers here.
Okay.
The study found that these changes slowed down aging by about 3.8 months over 3 years.
Okay.
I have to admit, when I first saw that number, I was
Yeah.
like,
That's...
that seems kind of small.
Yeah, it sounds small.
Yeah.
But you have to think of it like a long-term investment.
Okay.
Like, you're not looking for a quick fix.
Right.
You want, like, small, consistent changes that add up over time.
Right.
And plus, remember, this research was done on adults in their mid-70s.
Okay.
Who knows? Maybe younger folks would see even more dramatic results.
That's a really good point. And this whole study was just zeroing in on DNA methylation.
Right.
There's, like, so much more to aging than just this one thing.
Exactly. This is just one piece of the puzzle.
Right.
Like diet, sleep, managing stress, staying connected with other people.
Yeah.
All of that is still important for healthy aging.
It's not a magic bullet,
Right. It's not a magic bullet.
but it is a pretty cool insight.
Yeah, it's pretty cool to know that, this one change could make a real difference.
Yeah. Now, 1 gram of omega-3s?
Yeah,
That seems like a lot.
it does.
Could there be any downsides to taking that much?
That's a really important question.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, omega-3s are considered safe
Okay.
for most people,
Okay.
especially at the dosages they used in the study.
Gotcha.
But like any supplement, there can be potential side effects.
Sure.
So some people, they might experience, like mild digestive issues like a little bit of nausea or diarrhea.
Ah.
And, if you take really high doses of omega-3s, it can actually thin your blood,
Oh.
which could be a concern, for people who are already on blood thinners or if they have a bleeding disorder.
Okay. So, yeah, definitely something to like chat with your doctor about before you start like any new supplement routine.
Absolutely, yeah. They can help you kind of weigh those potential benefits and risks
Right.
and figure out like the right dosage for you.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But going back to like the benefits for a sec, you mentioned that this study really honed in on DNA methylation,
Right.
which is just one part of like the whole aging picture.
Right.
I've heard that like omega-3s are good for your brain and your heart too.
Yeah.
Is there any truth to that?
Yeah, there's a lot of research going on right now looking at those exact things.
Oh, wow.
Like early studies suggest that omega-3s might help with memory and focus.
Really?
And even like protecting against cognitive decline as we age.
Wow.
And then when it comes to heart health, they seem to have anti-inflammatory effects,
Okay.
which could be beneficial for your blood vessels and like your overall cardiovascular system.
So it's not just about like living longer, it's about like living better
Exactly.
and like feeling good.
And feeling sharper as we get older.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's exciting stuff.
This study looked at 1 gram of omega-3s a day specifically.
Mm.
Is there a chance that even higher doses could have like a bigger impact?
Well, that's a question that researchers are still like exploring.
Okay.
It's possible, but it's also important to remember that like more isn't always better, right?
Right.
Higher doses, they could potentially have downsides that we haven't even discovered yet.
Yeah.
So probably best to stick with like, the dosage that they studied until we know more.
That makes sense. So let's say someone's listening to this right now
Yeah.
and they're thinking, okay, I want to up my omega-3 game.
Okay.
What are some of the best ways to do that?
Well, like we talked about earlier, eating fatty fish at least twice a week.
Yeah.
That's a great place to start.
Okay.
Salmon, mackerel, sardines, all those are packed with those beneficial omega-3s.
I've actually been trying to eat more salmon lately.
Oh, nice.
I even found this like new recipe for salmon tacos.
Oh, wow.
It's so easy and delicious.
That's awesome.
I know some people though, they're not big fans of seafood.
Yeah.
So like what are their options?
Well, there are a few plant-based sources of omega-3s,
Okay.
like flax seeds and chia seeds and walnuts,
Okay.
but they don't actually contain the same types of omega-3s
Gotcha.
that have been linked to these anti-aging benefits.
Okay. Yeah.
So for a lot of people, like a high-quality supplement
Yeah.
is probably the most effective way to reach that 1 gram per day target.
Do you have any tips for like choosing a supplement?
Yeah, look for one that provides both EPA and DHA.
Okay.
Those are like the two most important types of omega-3s for our health.
Gotcha.
And, always choose a reputable brand
Right.
that's been independently tested for purity and potency.
Yeah. That's where it gets tricky though, right? There's so many different supplements out there.
Yeah.
It's hard to know like what to trust.
It really is. You're absolutely right. And that's why talking to your healthcare provider is so important.
Right.
They can help you navigate the supplement aisle
Yeah.
and recommend a product that meets your individual needs.
Okay. I'm totally sold on like the importance of omega-3s.
Good.
But let's be real for a sec.
Okay.
They're not like a magical fountain of youth, right?
No, you're exactly right. We have to be careful about overhyping any single nutrient or supplement.
Right.
This research is incredibly promising,
Yeah.
but it's just one piece of the puzzle.
Yeah. And it's also important to remember this study was done on older adults.
Right.
We don't know for sure if the younger people would see the same benefits.
That's a great point. And even within the group that they studied,
Yeah.
there was variation in how people responded.
Of course.
We're all unique.
Right.
Our bodies process things differently.
Yeah. And this is why like personalized medicine is becoming such a big deal these days, right? It's not just about like following general guidelines.
Right.
It's about understanding like what works best for your individual body.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And I think as we learn more about how things like, genetics
Yeah.
and lifestyle influence how we age,
Yeah.
we'll be able to tailor our approaches even more effectively.
That makes sense. So this is a good reminder that like anyone listening to this, if you're
Yeah.
curious about omega-3s, like really talk to your doctor before you make any big changes to your diet or your supplement routine.
Exactly.
They can really help you figure out if it's right for you
Yeah.
and like what dosage makes sense,
Sure.
beyond the supplements and the science.
Yeah.
I think there's something really powerful in this research.
Okay.
It's almost like a permission slip.
Oh,
to take an active role in how we age.
I completely agree. Yeah, it shows us that we're not just passively aging.
Right.
Like, we have some agency in the process.
Yeah.
We can make choices that support our health and vitality,
Totally.
and that can make a real difference.
That's such an empowering message.
It is.
It's not about being afraid of getting older.
Right.
It's about feeling empowered to age well.
Exactly.
And who knows, maybe as we continue to unravel the mysteries of aging,
Yeah.
we'll discover even more ways to optimize our health and well-being.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
It's definitely an exciting time to be alive and following the science of aging.
While we've been focusing on omega-3s this whole time,
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious. In
Yeah.
this study, even though vitamin D didn't have a major impact on its own,
Right.
it was part of that dream team combo.
You're right. And it's important to remember that even though it didn't directly affect DNA methylation in this study,
Yeah.
vitamin D is still crucial for so many other things in the body.
Like what?
Well, it plays a key role in bone health,
Okay.
immune function, cell growth,
Wow.
and even protecting against certain chronic diseases.
Okay.
Yeah, it's definitely not a nutrient to overlook.
So even though it wasn't the star of this particular show, it's still an important supporting character in the overall health story.
Exactly.
Speaking of supporting characters,
Right.
the study also looked at exercise.
Right. And it's important to note that even though it didn't significantly impact DNA methylation in this study,
Right.
exercise has a ton of other proven benefits.
Yeah, it seems like every time I turn around,
Yeah.
there's a new study about how exercise is good for something else.
Yeah. It's like a wonder drug almost.
Yeah.
For real.
So this study, though, it looked at strength training specifically.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that other types of exercise could have an impact on DNA methylation?
That's a great question. And it's definitely something that researchers are still investigating.
Okay.
There is some evidence suggesting that high-intensity interval training,
Okay.
or HIIT,
Okay.
might have a positive effect on cellular aging.
Interesting.
But, we need more research to confirm that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is why I love doing these deep dives. It's we uncover one answer and it just leads to more and more fascinating questions.
Totally.
So we've talked about omega-3s and vitamin D and exercise.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that's showing promise when it comes to slowing down the aging process?
Well, there's a lot of exciting research happening in the field of aging right now.
Okay.
Scientists are exploring things like calorie restriction
Okay.
and certain types of fasting,
Yep.
and even compounds found in plants
Oh, wow.
that might have anti-aging properties.
Wait, so from the stuff that we eat?
Exactly.
Oh, that's interesting.
Things like resveratrol,
Okay.
which is found in grapes and red wine,
Okay.
and curcumin, which is the active ingredient in turmeric,
Ah.
have shown some intriguing effects in lab studies.
So maybe that glass of red wine with dinner isn't such a bad idea after all.
Maybe not.
But jokes aside, it's incredible to think about the potential of these natural compounds
Yeah.
to influence how we age.
Yeah, it really is.
Do you think we're on the verge of some major breakthroughs in the fight against aging?
I definitely think we're entering a new era of understanding when it comes to aging.
Okay.
We're moving away from the idea that it's just an inevitable decline,
Right.
and kind of embracing this possibility that we can influence the process
Yeah.
and age more healthfully.
I love that.
Yeah,
It's not about trying to stop time.
right.
It's about making the most of the time that we have
Exactly.
and living our best lives at every age.
Absolutely. And I think this research with the omega-3s is a great example of that.
Yeah.
It's not a quick fix
Right.
or a magic bullet,
Right.
but it's it's a tangible step we can take
Yeah.
to support our health
Yeah.
and potentially slow down that aging process, at least at the cellular level.
And it all comes back to that idea of taking an active role in our own health.
Yeah.
We're not just passengers on this aging journey.
Right.
We have the power to make choices that influence how the ride goes.
I think that's a great takeaway for our listeners.
Yeah.
Be curious, be informed,
Yeah.
and be proactive when it comes to your health.
I love it. So to wrap things up here, if someone's listening to this right now
Yeah.
and they're thinking, okay, I'm ready to embrace the omega-3s.
Okay.
What's the best advice we can give them?
First and foremost, talk to your doctor.
Right.
They can help you determine if omega-3 supplementation is right for you,
Okay.
and recommend an appropriate dosage.
And in the meantime, maybe try to incorporate some more fatty fish into your diet.
Exactly. Aim for at least 2 servings a week.
Okay.
of things like salmon or mackerel or sardines
Gotcha.
or other fatty fish.
And if you're really not a fan of seafood,
Yeah,
then yeah, consider talking to your doctor about a high-quality omega-3 supplement.
for sure. And remember, this is just one piece of the healthy aging puzzle.
Right.
Don't neglect those other important lifestyle factors
Yeah.
like regular exercise, balanced diet,
Mhm.
stress management,
Yeah.
quality sleep.
Beautifully said.
Thank you.
Well, I think we've covered a lot of ground today,
We have.
and I'm feeling incredibly inspired
Me too.
to take charge of my own aging journey.
Yeah.
What about you?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Me too. And I hope our listeners are feeling inspired as well.
So until next time, stay curious
Stay informed.
and keep diving deep.